and welcome. This is Honor 103.5 FM, and this is Travel Talk with Fumi. If you are one that is regular on this radio, I'm sure you'll be wondering what happened. Sometimes life just happens and you need to take a break, which is what happened to me. I needed to take that break, which I did. So I took a break, now I'm back, and better I hope or I believe. I needed that break, but now, I'm back. So yes, I'm back here every Tuesdays between the hours of 4 and 5 on Honor 103.5 FM to talk about everything that has to do with travel. And today, today I was going to do like a general recap of like what the program is all about, but then I've had like numerous emails and messages saying, it's a real struggle. They're trying to understand the Schengen visa and all of that. So I think, I don't know, maybe the Schengen countries, maybe they're in vogue now, maybe they're the in thing now. A lot of people seem to believe that once you have been able to ace getting a Schengen visa, it makes it easier to get the other Western visas. And well, while I would say that you might have a better chance, I would say you don't necessarily ace it. So it gives you a chance because it shows that, okay, maybe you have a travel history, meaning you have been able to prove to one country that, you actually do deserve to be issued a visa, and it makes it easier or believable for the other countries. But then it doesn't make it automatic. So if you are one that you believe that once you get a Schengen visa, the next stop is the US or Canada, I might be here to bust your bubble today that it doesn't necessarily work that way. But before I dive into whatever it is that I'm going to be talking about today concerning the Schengen visa, I would like to say, if you would like to watch us live, we are streaming live on Facebook and the official Instagram, YouTube channel of the radio station, which is Honor 103.5 FM. So you can tune in on Facebook or YouTube. Do well to give the page, a like or subscribe or follow, so that you do not miss out on any of the juicy things or fun things that we have for you. So yes, I'll dive into what I'm going to be speaking about today, which, like I said, is the Schengen visa. I've talked about Schengen visas several times on this program. A Schengen visa is like an European visa. So it's a visa that gives you access to 26 other countries outside the country that you applied at. So meaning you have a total of 27 countries to travel to altogether. The way it works is they are all European countries. The countries that have come together that have said, you know what, to make it easier, to make tourism easier, to help us make more money from tourism, why don't we come together and ease our border restriction, saying if you have a visa to my country, then you'll be able to come to your own country. So the countries there, there's so many of them. It's easy. I've talked about it. And I think I have something like that on my YouTube channel as well. It's called Travel Talk with Fumi. And you have numerous countries. You have countries like France, like Portugal, like Spain, Italy, the Vatican City. You have Germany. You have Belgium. You have Netherlands. So many countries, Holland, so many countries. Like I said, you have 27 countries altogether. I think Albania just joined the list of this country now. So, yes. And the good thing about it is that, so it means that if you have a valid visa to Italy, you can use that visa to go to, in fact, all of those other 26 countries while you're at it. But the thing about Schengen visa is there's always a catch. Now, a Schengen visa is not a kind of visa that you get for a long time. You know, the way you usually will apply for maybe a UK visa, and you can apply for a 6-month visa, or you do a 2 years visa, 5 years, 10 years. Those are the kind of visas they offer. Or maybe for the US now, the US is doing 5 years multiple, or maybe Canada that you attain or to the expiration of your passport. Schengen countries don't work that way. Schengen countries, they can issue you visa as low as 4 days. So if you are trying to be smart, and I know a lot of people do that for countries like the UK and US, and they'll say, oh, so they'll think that I'm busy in Nigeria, I have something I'm doing, let me just say that I'm just going to be gone for maybe it's a 5 days or a 7 days vacation. If you indeed fill in 5 days in your application when you're applying, and you get a positive response, you're probably going to be getting like a 7-day visa or a 10 days visa, unless you have an history with traveling, you travel. And so if you are that kind of person that you're a seasoned traveler, it shows that you travel a lot, then it doesn't necessarily have to be that way. The first time I applied for a Schengen visa, I'd been to maybe like 7-8 countries before I applied for a Schengen visa. And the first Schengen country I applied to was Italy, and I got a 3-month multiple entry. After that, I applied to France, I got a 6 months, and after that it was Portugal, and I got a 1 year. And I didn't even apply for a 1 year. So, but I'll teach you the trick. I'll tell you the trick sometimes I feel works for you if you are a seasoned traveler and you're looking to get a longer term. But if you're not, if you're just a first timer and you know that you want to be able to explore more than one country, maybe you want to do multiple countries in one trip, which is okay, which is ideally what you should do. You know, you don't say you own you have a France visa and everything, all of your vacation starts and ends in France. No, some other people would only even go to Paris. No, it doesn't work that way. So you can go from France, you can just get a bus overnight to go to maybe Amsterdam. You can get a bus to go to Italy. You can get a bus to go to the Vatican City. You know, they are all like neighbors and they are all close to each other. So you can do that. Now, to apply for a Schengen visa, I always tell people, please, always apply at the country that you intend to visit. Let's take, for instance, I'm looking to go to maybe the Netherlands, and then you go ahead and apply at the French embassy. You might not have issues getting into the Netherlands. On some occasions, you might have issues, while on some, you might not have issues. But trust me when I tell you, for free, that you will have issues when you want to renew your visa. So if you apply at the French embassy now, they are expecting you in France. That's what it means. But then you now don't use that visa to France, and you just pack your bags and then you hop on and then you go to Spain. It's fine. You might encounter some issues at the point of entry in Spain, and you might not. It depends. You know, sometimes it depends on the immigration officer you meet at the point of entry, and then sometimes it doesn't even matter who you meet. Do you understand? Sometimes you might, gain entry into that country, but then when you get entry into that country, you would have issues the next time, because the next time you want to apply again and you go on to the French embassy, it shows that you have applied for a visa from France before, a visa that has been approved, but France doesn't have any history of you ever visiting France and you have indeed used that visa, the French government, they're not going to be happy about this. And then you will have issues the next time you need to apply at the French embassy. You probably 96% get a refusal unless you have a very strong cover letter explaining why you had to do that. Maybe there was one reason. Aside that, you would get a refusal. So what I always say to people is, if you are looking to go to the Schengen area and you want to go to a country, you're applying through France, I would say please make sure you go to France first before you start exploring the other Schengen areas. There's nothing that is stopping you. I always advise, I know a lot of people that they'll say, oh, Portugal, a lot of weddings. I know a lot of weddings in Portugal this year. And people that I know have applied through the French embassy, which is fine. But I always tell them, you need to go to France first. Then from France, you can take a local flight within Europe and head to Portugal. You can't just up from Nigeria and then go straight to Portugal. You're going to have issues. If you're lucky and you don't have issues at the point of entry, you would have issues the next time you're trying to renew that visa. So you go to France, you try to explore France for a day or two before you head to Portugal. And then when you're done in Portugal, try to explore France for another day or two. So I always tell people, if you are looking to spend maybe like 10 days on your vacation and you are trying to apply through France, please spend at least 5 days out of those 10 in France, because you're applying through that embassy. That's the first point of entry. If you are going to be spending 10 days and then you're looking to do maybe 3 days in France and 3 days in Portugal, I will advise you to just go straight and apply at the Portuguese embassy. If you are going to be doing maybe a 50-50, 5 days in France, 5 days in Portugal, the country that you're going to be arriving at first, that's the country that you should apply at. Don't think that because their borders are open to each other, you can just, go to anyone that you feel like. It's always safer to just do the right thing. Just respect. Come on, Kutsi. Just respect the country a little and just do the right thing. Because I can't imagine my American visa would allow me to fly to Mexico or to go to countries like Panama, like Dominican Republic, like Belize, visa free with my multiple entry US visa. But I know that there's no way anybody would hold a US visa and head straight from Nigeria saying, oh, I'm going to Mexico first, or I'm going to Barbados first, or I'm going to Panama first. They'll first get to the US. So it's just a little, cutsy. So that's number one. Number two, you need to be able to interpret your Schengen visa. Not all Schengen visas, like 98% of the Schengen visas allows you to go to other Schengen countries, but not all. So for example, if you apply for a Schengen visa and when you get an approval, the sticker on your passport has Schengen on it, then it's fine. You can use it to any of the Schengen areas. But if the sticker has, on the topmost part, if it has only the country that you applied at, then you are part of that 2%, which says that it's only that country you can visit at that time. Another mistake people make when they're looking to go to the Schengen area is they would say they have a single entry. So for all visa types, there are single entries, there are multiple entries. It depends. So if you are one that you get a multiple entry, it means that you can visit the Schengen areas multiple times within that period that they give you for the validity. But if you have a single entry, it doesn't mean that you cannot go to other Schengen countries. What it just means is that you can use that visa to tour all of the Schengen countries as much as you can or as much as you want. But the only clause there is that because it's a single entry, you just have a single permit to enter into the Schengen area. Meaning once you're still in the Schengen area, it's still valid. But once you step out of the Schengen zone, so for example now, a lot of travelers, they tend to, for Portugal, Spain, and Mexico, Morocco, beg your pardon, they share the same border. So I find a lot of travelers that are going to Spain or Portugal that they intend to, they like almost always incorporate going to Morocco in their trip. Now this itinerary you have now, it shows that you're going to spend maybe like 4 days in Spain, and then from there you want to spend like maybe 3 days in Morocco, and then you go back and spend 4 days in Spain. The way it works is that if you have a multiple Schengen visa, then it's okay for you to go out of Spain, go into Morocco, which is not a Schengen country, and then come back into Portugal, and then proceed and leave to wherever your home country is or whatever your onward journey is. But if you have a single entry visa, it means that once you step out of the Schengen area, you cannot go back in. So you will not be able to do the itinerary that takes you from Spain, then to Morocco, and back to Portugal. Because once you leave Spain and you get into Morocco, that means the visa is not valid anymore. It's for single entry. You cannot use it back into the Schengen area. But if you do not leave the Schengen area from Spain, you go on to Portugal. From Portugal, you go on to Germany. From Germany, you go to Belgium. From Belgium, you go on to, Italy. You go to France. You go to Albania. You are still in the Schengen area. So you can keep going. You have not stepped out of the Schengen zone. So your visa is still valid, even if it reads single entry on the sticker. It just means that you have entered into the Schengen area once, but all of your travel is still being done within the Schengen zone, which is fine. But the minute you step out of the Schengen area, maybe somebody like going from France, then you go to Turkey, you cannot step back into the Schengen area because it's just a single entry. I don't know if I've made sense with all of these things that I've just said. In simple words, it just means that if you have a single entry, once you go out of the Schengen zone, you cannot come back on that trip, not on that visa anymore. But if you have a multiple entry, you can go. So sometimes they write multiple, or sometimes they write 2 entries, and then sometimes they write multiple. If you have 2 entries, that means 1, 2. But if you have multiple, that means you can, from France, you can take a train to London. You have gone out of the Schengen area that way. And then from London, you can take another train to Italy. That is coming in again too. And then from Italy, maybe take a train or a flight to Turkey. And then, you get from Istanbul, you take another train to, that is going in and out multiple times. But if you are still going from one Schengen area to the other, then it's fine with a single entry visa. I don't know if I've made sense. I hope I've made sense. What I would say again, for anybody looking to go to a Schengen area, a travel insurance is a must. Most of the time you don't get to use it, but it's always good to have it. Even your travel documents, when you are looking at your checklist, you have a travel insurance of up to 30,000 euros included in that checklist. So while I'm still talking about checklist, I'll take a short commercial break and I'll be back soon. Don't go anywhere, guys.
On the 103.5 FM. gbogbo onínáwó pátá tó fi mọ́ gbogbo aláṣẹ chicken tẹ́ fẹ́ lò bó ti wù kó pọ̀ tó DMAGs ni ẹ máa bọ̀ ẹ má wulẹ̀ làágùn jìnnà mọ́ DMAG frozen foods ni ẹ máa bọ̀. Oh yes, whatever occasion it is, chieftaincy ceremony, housewarming, naming, birthday party, or whatever occasion it is, DMAG frozen foods has got your back for whatever number of chickens you may desire. All caterers, worry less, as DMAG is there for you to take care of your chicken supplies. Be it whole chicken or in pieces, DMAGs will cut, will pack, and deliver to wherever you want it. Ajẹ́pẹ́tẹ́ bá ti ń ronú náwó ẹ ṣá máa ronú DMAGs fún irúfẹ́ iye chicken tẹ́ bá ń fẹ́ bó ti wù kó pọ̀ tó kò sí wàhálà kankan. Ẹ kàn sí DMAG frozen foods lẹ́ni ní plot 2 block F number 6 Olúbàdàn avenue Olúyọ̀lé estate lẹ́bàá Fumac pharmacy Ìbàdàn tàbí lẹ́ka àwọn tó wà ní off new garage Akala expressway lẹ́bàá Anchor mall kátó-déré Akari junction Ìbàdàn. Fún àlàyé lẹ́kùnrẹ́rẹ́ ẹ pè 09062864238 tàbí 09062968870. Think party chickens, think DMAGs.
Happy children.
Yay! Children's Day is here again. And kids, get ready, get set, and get excited for the fun of your life. Featuring sing-along, dance, poetry, cultural display, painting, and loads of surprises, making it an unforgettable day. Your darling station, Honor 103.5 FM, in collaboration with Onulade Arts and Cultural Connections, proudly presents Children's Day 2025. Date May 27, 2025. Venue Tunde Odunlade Art Gallery, Arebodija, Ibadan. It's going to be educative, entertaining, exciting, and absolutely fantastic. Registration fee is just 2,000 naira per child. Special offers for schools 10,000 naira for 10 students. For more information, call 081 6384 2577 or 080 07 5600. Don't miss it. Make it a date. May 27, 2025. Come one, come all.
Things are important to you.
On 103.5 FM.
Thank you for staying tuned. You're back to Honor 103.5 FM, and this is still Travel Talk with Fumi. We're streaming live on the official Facebook and YouTube channel of the station, which is Honor 103.5 FM. So please tune in and subscribe to the channel. Before the short commercial break, I was talking about Schengen visas and the questions I've been asked regarding Schengen visas. And I talked about, knowing the right country to apply to if you are trying to apply for a Schengen visa. I talked about how to travel. Maybe you have the one for this country, or maybe you intend to visit multiple Schengen countries, and you're looking at spending 3 days in one, 3 days in the other, and 1 day in the last, or 3 days, 3 days. Make sure you apply at the one that you will be arriving at first. And if you're going to be spending more days in one than the other, I would say apply in the one that you're spending more days. And I also talked about interpreting your Schengen visa sticker. If your sticker allows you to have access to all of the 27 countries in the Schengen area, and you would know this by on your Schengen sticker and the where you have visa. Sometimes they write Visto. It depends on the country that you're applying at. You would have Schengen there in capital letters. If you have Schengen there, then bravo. That means you can visit all of the Schengen areas. But if you have only the acronym of the country that you applied at. This just happened maybe like 2% of the time. It just simply means that you can only go into that country for the validity of the visa that you have. That means you cannot explore the other 26 Schengen areas. It's just that one that you applied at. And I also said that, if you have a visa that says it's a single entry, it doesn't mean that you cannot use it to multiple Schengen areas. It simply just means that once you exit the Schengen area, you cannot come back in because it's a single entry. It just allows you entry into the Schengen area once. But despite being a single entry, you can still explore all of the other 26 Schengen areas even with that visa, because it's a single entry. You've had access to the Schengen area once, and it means that you can stay in that zone and explore. If you have when the right number of entries and the right 2, it means you can only go twice. That is 1, 2. And then if you have M written there, it means it's multiple. You can go in and out of the Schengen area as much as you want, as long as your visa is still valid. Yeah, before we forget this, I also said that, don't try to be smart. If you a Schengen visa is not a visa that you apply for when you're not ready to travel. So you can apply for a UK visa now and say, oh, I have this UK visa and I'm not going to use it until December. It doesn't work that way for a Schengen visa. A Schengen visa, you can apply as much as 3 months before your date of travel. So let's say we're in May now. I'm looking at traveling June, July, August. I'm looking at traveling in August. I can start my application process now. And even if I say, okay, my travel date is going to be August the 10th to return back to my home country August the 17th, which is like a 7-day trip, I'll probably be granted a Schengen visa from August the 8th to August the maybe 18th or 19th. So that's how it works for a Schengen visa. So if you're not ready to take that trip. So if you say that you are looking to go to a Schengen area now, you have a visa, especially when you're not a seasoned traveler, and then you say you're looking to travel sometimes in June, you put the 10th of June. This is like the 12th of May. You barely have time, because typically a Schengen application takes 3 weeks. So by the time your application gets back, you will probably be like first week in June. So you probably have maybe 8 or 9 days to plan and take that trip, which is going to be a lot of stress on your finances, because you're buying a ticket last minute. You're going to be paying through your nose. But if you know your travel date for sure, you can plan ahead. So, and then I would say that, if you're going to be going for 10 days, for flexibility, you can just say you are going to be going for maybe 2 weeks. So it gives you, give or take, another week of grace. Because if you say 14 days, they'll probably give you maybe 2 days before the date of arrival that you filled in your application form, and 2 days after. So it's buying you time. But then if you are trying to apply, because the way the Schengen visa is calculated when you put your bank statement, so what they do is they presume that you're going to be spending an equivalent of $65 to $80 per day on your transportation and feeding. Now, the reason why I said transportation and feeding is that for Schengen visas, when you are applying, what they say to you is that make sure you put a copy of your itinerary, your ticket, your flight ticket, your accommodation, your proof of accommodation. It doesn't have to be paid for. Just make the reservation and put it as part of the documentation you're going to be submitting. The reason why they need this, if you don't know, is they need to be able to calculate how much money you have, how much money you're going to be spending on that trip. They get probably lots of applications daily, so they don't have the time to start sitting at a computer and start researching how much you would spend. This is a peak season, this is not a peak season. So you are going to do all of that work for them. So the reason why they ask you to include your itinerary is because you include your flight ticket now. They can see the amount of the ticket there. Let's say, for instance, your ticket is a 1.5 million naira that will take you from, Lagos, Nigeria to Paris in France. It's a 1.2 million naira. And then they ask you to include your proof of accommodation. Then you put your hotel reservation. Let's say you have already said in your application that you're going to be spending 10 days. And let's say the hotel you're getting is going to be like a 80 or €100 per night. That's like €1,000 for 10 nights. €1 is like 1,850, 1,900 now. So that's like another 1.9. Add that 1.9 to your 1.5 for ticket. That is already 3.4 there. Now, you now want to travel for that 10 days. They've asked you to present your bank statement. Your bank statement has a closing balance of maybe 5 million. And you're thinking, oh yeah, you're good to go because what you're going to be expending is just 3.4. No, that is not true, because they're going to be calculating like €80 per night, per day for your transportation and feeding. So by the time you do 10 days, that's €800. That's like another 1 point something. There's nothing left in your bank account, though. It's not even enough. So that's what they are trying. That's the trick. That's what they are trying to calculate. So make sure that whatever bank statement that you're presenting has enough to cover for your flight, your accommodation, and I don't even wait on the €80 per day. I do €100 per day, that equivalent. That's what I do. And then make sure you have ×2 or ×3 of that money that you intend to spend on that vacation sitting in your bank account. Otherwise, your chances of getting a positive response is very slim. I don't know if I've made sense with what I just said. So you're looking to travel, your ticket and your flight is going to cost you like 4 million. And then maybe the way they will calculate, you're spending 10 days and they're doing €80 per night. That's €800. €800 is like maybe 1.7. When you add it to that, that's like 5.7, and you only have 5 million in your account. You can see you're in trouble already. So something like that, if you're going to be spending like 5.5, I would say have like 11-15 million, if not, between 11 million, 15 million sitting in your bank account as your closing balance. So it shows that you can indeed and honestly afford this trip, because it wouldn't make any sense for you to have maybe like 6.5 or 7 million in your bank account and then you just want to go and spend like 85% of it on a 10-day trip, meaning you're coming back to what? So and the things that I calculated now is exclusive of tours. And you have said your reason for going is for tourism, and you have not included the included tour. You need to buy souvenirs for people when you're coming back. That's why you should have like ×2 or ×3 sitting in your bank account. So these are part of the tricks, and these are part of the reasons why some people get a refusal when they apply for a Schengen visa. But before the commercial break, I was talking about travel insurance, and I said it's a must. You must have a travel insurance of up to €30,000. It's very easy. You can do it all on your own. Just look for a reputable insurance company. I use Answer Mansard, I use Mutual Benefit, I use anyone. If you just know, okay, it's reputable, Leadway, just go on there, go online, just go follow the prompts, travel insurance, and they will ask you where you're going. You click on the Schengen area, and then it's probably next to nothing that you'll be paying. I think if you're going for like a 10-day to 2 weeks trip, you probably be paying maybe like 12,000 or 15,000 for the travel insurance. But if you are going to be using an agent, you probably be paying like 30,000 or 40,000. So if you're going to be doing like a month, you're probably paying maybe like 18,000, 19,000, you know, like that. So that's just the way it works. Then I said I was going to talk to you about another trick that you can use if you're a seasoned traveler, that you can use to get a longer validity on your visa, is with your travel insurance. So yeah, you want to apply now, and then every time you apply, you keep putting a 1 month travel insurance. There's no way they would give you a visa that is more than a month, because you only have a travel insurance for a month. So maybe part of the reasons I've been able to get that, and I've tried it for a few people and it worked, is to be able to do like a 3 month, 6 months, or 1 year travel insurance. Please, this is not for a first-time traveler or somebody that's just going to the Schengen area for the first time or second time. This is for a seasoned traveler. You're well traveled. You've probably been to what? You've been out of Nigeria like how many times? So yes, that way, because they would ask you, you know, in your form, it goes a long way. They would have information about you, because they would ask you if you've ever been out of your home country, the countries you've been to in the last 5 years. So it shows if you are a seasoned traveler or not. And then the Schengen area, they tend to say that, you know, they need all the visa pages and all the stamps in all of your passport, your present passport, your current one, the expired ones. They also, with the stamps and the visas you have, they know if you're somebody that does a lot of traveling or not. So if I apply now, I'm a seasoned traveler, you are a seasoned traveler as well, we have both submitted our documents and, you know, the stamps in our passport, the visa stickers, all of it. We have submitted all of that. Then I apply with a 1 month travel insurance. You apply with a 6 month travel insurance. I can bet it that you are going to be getting a visa that is valid for between 3 months to 6 months. And I, on the other hand, I might be getting a 10-day visa. I might be getting a 2 weeks visa. So yes, the travel insurance, it does the trick. But then, if you are a seasoned traveler too, but you're not frequent in the Schengen area, another trick you can use is, you know, in your cover letter, I tried it for someone. I had to tell the person that he's ungrateful, because sometimes it happens that way. So this person, the first time we applied for a Schengen visa was in 2023, and this person got a 7 days visa. And then in 2024, he decided to go again. We applied again to the same country. So sometimes it's good when you have built a reputation with a country. So for instance, you apply at Italy and then you get a visa. I would just say, you know what, just stick with Italy. You don't have to start hopping from one Schengen area to the other. They already have your details. They're comfortable with you. So it makes it easier for you to get an approval. So if you get an approval from a Schengen country, stick to that Schengen country. Even if you're going to be going to another Schengen country, it's the Schengen area. You can enter and, you know, leave as you please once you have a visa. So we applied the second time, and this time he said it was going for 10 days. And when we applied, we got a 13 days visa. And then he was complaining to me saying, oh, sis, I wish I could get something longer, you know, maybe like a month. You know, it's always so frustrating when you're restricted this way. And I said, okay, you know what? There's something that we can do. Okay, I would work on your cover letter for you. So in the cover letter, you know, I wrote it and it was rather convincing. I said, you know, it's frustrating having to come back to the embassy every time. There was a work trip that came up, like it was an impromptu one. And, you know, he wished to attend, but he couldn't because, you know, every time he gets a visa, it's either it's getting a 7-day visa or a 10-day visa, which is really frustrating. You know, it doesn't make his traveling flexible and all of that. So when I wrote into that, I said, oh, so this time we are craving the indulgence of the embassy to maybe at least grant us multiple entries and, you know, a longer validity. And we applied, and 3 weeks later, we got the visa, and he had a 40 days. Okay, we did a travel insurance for 6 months, and he had a 40 days validity. And this guy was complaining, saying He's not happy. He thought he was going to get a 6 months. I'm like, oh my God, how ungrateful can you be? The first time you got a visa, you got a 7-day visa, and it was like you had the world in your hands. You were so excited. So now that you're building a travel history, 40 days, Kotomo, or I don't know. So what I would say is, so he has an history with the embassy. That's why we could write. If he was going to be applying with a new embassy and starting afresh, there's no way that they would allow. They would just ignore the cover letter and probably just start, getting to know him on their own. So this embassy that we applied at, that it got a 40 days validity this time. I've told him, you know what, don't wait year in, year out. It doesn't show that you are a seasoned traveler. Why don't you go for this in June, and when you come back, maybe like October, we can apply again, and that time we apply for 6 months, and I'm certain that he's going to get that 6 months. It's trying to build confidence. It's trying to build your history. They need to be comfortable with you to be sure that, okay, this person is for real. This person indeed goes for traveling and for tourism, and is just not going to exploit us when they get into our country. And don't forget, they are always careful. Some people say the Schengen visa is the most difficult visa to get, and really, even if it's the most difficult visa to get, do you blame them? They are giving you access to 27 countries. It's like putting the world in your hands. Even countries like UK, US, Canada, they just give you access to what, maybe 5-6 countries. I don't even think any of them gives you access to 10 countries, but this gives you access to 20. So it has to be hard. They need to be able to tell that, okay, this person, we're sure that, if he enters and he gets access to all 27 countries, is going to be law abiding and do right by us. So yeah, that's how it works. Then I would say make sure that you put your itinerary in your cover letter, what you want to do from day to day. It matters. Don't just say, oh, you want to go for tourism and that's it. For one, I break it down like I'm talking to a baby, like a child. So, okay, I intend to arrive on Monday, and then on Tuesday, I intend to rest and relax. Then on Wednesday, I want to go tour, maybe the Eiffel Tower. On Thursday, I intend to go to the Louvre and the Seine River. On Friday, I want to go to maybe Disneyland, and then on Saturday I can say, oh, take a train and just then Sunday rest, and then on Monday catch my flight back to Nigeria. I break it down like that, like word for word. So make sure you do that. And somebody talked about budget hotels as well. Yes, there are so many budget hotels in Europe. You can do Airbnb. You don't have to stay in the city center. If you're staying in the city center, you probably be spending too much. You can stay in not completely suburb, but not the city center or not on the strip, so that you save, because whatever it is that you're going to be saving on accommodation, you can never spend it on transportation. So if you're one that you're going to be touring, don't say I want to stay next to, this maybe Notre Dame. I want to be staying next to the Eiffel Tower. I want to be staying next to Champs-Élysées. You're going to be paying through your nose. You'll probably be paying for a hotel. They're charging you maybe like $300 a night. But if you stay in a hotel that is not right in the city center, you probably be spending less. Of course, you'll definitely be spending less. You get hotels of $80, $100 per night. And honestly, in a day, do you honestly believe you spend the difference of 200 euros on transportation? No, you won't. And I know some backpackers, some people stay in hostels. The way the hostel works, some you have a single beds. Most of the time you have the bunk beds there. You have 2 people in a room, 4 people in a room, sometimes 6, sometimes 8. It depends on the accommodation. So yes, you can do that if you're on a budget and you don't mind. I'm a hotel kind of girl. I always stay in a hotel. I don't believe in hostel, but a lot of people do it, and it's fine. So you can explore the Airbnb or the budget hotels if you're looking to go to a Schengen country. And I think that will be all from me today. I'll be back here next week between the hours of 4 and 5 to tell you more about travel. This is still Travel Talk with Funmi, and of course this is Honor 103.5 FM. Have a good week. Bye bye.